All right, so what we're going to be discussing here is the body's position that we get to the moment our front foot gets into the ground for the very first time. And this moment in time is called our foot strike. So we are going to be talking about the moment when, boom, those feet get into the ground for the very first time. And again, that's called our foot strike position. At foot strike, we want to be looking at our body in two halves. Our upper half and our lower half. At foot strike, we want our lower half to have rotated forward towards our target. And a useful thing to look at to know if we've been able to do that is the belt buckle. And is that belt buckle facing the target? If the belt buckle is facing the target, it's a pretty good chance that we have successfully rotated both the back foot, the back knee, and the back hip. When we're able to rotate the back foot, the back knee, and the back hip, as our front foot is getting into that foot strike position, we will successfully be able to get our belt buckle driving towards the target. If we specifically take a look at just the back foot of these four guys, let's watch as they are rotating that back leg, how that back foot is rotating. At this point in time, all four guys still have their entire foot flat onto the ground, and then they begin to rotate through or over top of their big toe. Their foot kind of rolls, folds over, or drives forward. And as the foot does that motion, we now shift our view to the back knee and know as the foot is rolling over the big toe, that the back knee is also rotating forward. And how those two things, the back foot and the back knee, are working together. We can also see that as we go to drive and rotate that back foot and back knee, how they do that while they gain ground down the mound and towards their catcher. So this is the difference between rotating our bodies forward, or a word for that is driving ourselves forward, versus just rotating in place. If we were just rotating in place, our bodies would not be able to gain this ground down the mound. Our bodies wouldn't be able to accelerate our power and energy down the mound. And we can then look and see that the foot has the toe, and then the heel is in front of the toe, meaning we have rotated forward. We then go to the upper body, the upper halves, from the waist up, and we want to separate that upper body from the lower body. We want the direction that our hips are facing, which is to the target, to be separate from the direction our shoulders are facing. So we notice we can see the Giants, the Padres, the Pirates, and his number. We can see the Phillies, and we can see the Brewers or Milwaukee. I'm not sure what they have displayed on their jerseys there. So the direction of their lower bodies is to the target, and the direction of their shoulders is still facing, for these right-handers, towards third base, or the direction they have been the entire time. So we rotate the lower body first, then we get into foot strike, then we rotate our upper body second. And the more that we can get those lower bodies to fully rotate to the target by the time that front foot hits the ground, and we've also been able to keep that upper body from rotating and staying back, we will have created as much upper lower half separation or hip shoulder separation as possible. And the more hip shoulder separation or upper lower half separation we can create, the more power we're going to be able to produce, and the amount of stress that's put on our arm is going to be reduced. What we're also going to notice is that almost regardless of your arm slot, if we have a true 3/4, low 3/4, high 3/4, an over-the-top arm slot, or anything in between those, we're always going to find ourselves in a relatively 90 degree angle, meaning from our elbow across to our other shoulder, we want to think is nice and even. 90 degrees in that armpit. We also want to think 90 degrees in that elbow. We want this type of arm position, that 90-90, we'll call it, at the moment of foot strike. When our arm has loaded up to this position here, at the moment of foot strike, and the upper body has not rotated yet, our body's rotation will accelerate the throw forward. If the arm is not in this 90-90 position, the body's rotation forward is going to be less than ideal and in sync with how the arm will flow after the body goes. So we're looking for this 90-90-ish position in that throwing arm at foot strike. What we can also notice at foot strike is, where is this glove at? It's in front of the body by the rib cage. We're not letting it, if we're thinking here's some water, don't drown the glove. Don't let your glove get wet. Don't drown that glove. This one right here is a little too high. Should be more towards the belt. Okay. When the glove gets finished into the body like this, it's able to help keep this front shoulder in line, meaning it's not going to open up early. Because if that front shoulder starts to open up early, that's going to start to pull the back shoulder forward early. And now we would not have separated our upper and lower halves as much, because the angle of the shoulders would begin to rotate forward, which would be more matching the angle of the hips. The final thing we're going to look at is this front leg. We see all these guys have different degrees of bend in their front legs. But what we're going to notice is that as the upper body now rotates to throw, we need to make our front leg become a firm fixture of which we can rotate around. So thinking about this front leg here turning into a flagpole. My flagpole is always going to be strongest if it's straight. Or at least I can't have my flagpole move forward while my body is trying to rotate forward. So we'll redraw these little outlines here, and we will have these guys. Oh man, that's all right. It's gonna get back to it anyway. Boom. And now we'll watch as they go to throw. How that leg is locking out, stiffening up, straightening out. So that now that leg is here. Now that leg is here. Now that leg is here and here. From the bend, straightening it out. And what we can notice is as that leg locks out, stiffens up, straightens out, becomes that firm flagpole, notice how that upper body is able to catapult itself out in front and down more. Able to get out in front more. Out in front more. So that way, if we look, we can't get everyone exactly at release, but ball just out, ball just out, ball is coming out, ball is slightly a little bit more out than the bottom two. But we're able to look at this angle of the chin to the waist, back out to the front foot, boom, boom, boom. Just how out in front of themselves they're getting. And that's because of that front leg's ability to lock out. So we can see that they're starting, boom, boom, there, and there. So now it's not just the arm throwing the ball down, it's the body throwing the ball down. It's the body going down with the throw, body accelerating down. And as the body's accelerating down, the lower half is firming up. So that way, as I need to finish all this violent rotation, I have the ability to do that around that firm front leg. I have that ability to rotate around. I can finish all that violent rotation from my back leg around. I can finish all that violent rotation from my hips around. I can finish all that violent rotation out of my back shoulder around, giving my arm plenty of time to slow down and giving the back muscles, my scapular muscles, all the time they need to activate and slow down that rapidly accelerating arm. All right, so we got the four of you guys up here synced up with Garrett Cole. Everyone is synced up to the moment that our front foot's going to get into the ground. So Aiden, just another opportunity for you to see how everyone's kind of outpacing your delivery's tempo. So just thinking about getting that leg up to be a little bit quicker so that way your body can start going forward sooner. So what we're going to notice is your leg gets all the way up, Aiden, to your peak, and your body is still here. Right? So now your body is going to start to go down, 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 down before you ever start to gain some ground forward. We do that same thing with Garrett Cole here, right? And we draw one as straight as I can. That leg gets up to his peak, boom, and we're going to notice that his body is already gaining ground during that leg lift. It's not a lot, but it's just enough to start the momentum forward. It's just enough to get that momentum really going forward. So by the time he's at that same level that he was earlier, he's significantly more away from the mound, creating more energy, more momentum, more free power. So we want to just think about continuing to get that delivery more and more aggressively quick, so that way the delivery has more and more energy in it. All right, we take that back again. And we now watch our lefty over here And we're going to notice something similar as well on how the leg comes all the way up. The leg starts to go down, and you still have not gained any ground yet, right? So we need to learn how to get it up, get it going. Get it up, get it going. The lefty is not as much urgency in that because this base runner over here has got to respect your ability to still come and pick over to him versus going down that mound, right? But we still don't want to be so slow that we can't create any momentum. Now we're having to work extra hard just to get the body moving, okay? So what we're going to notice with our righty, if I do similar lines with him, and that leg comes up, and we're going to see there's just that little momentum, just that little bit of his body being able to start to go forward, get to go forward rather than just straight down. So now he's going down and out, instead of just mostly down, down, down. So something Aiden and my lefty here can be working on in terms of our side view breakdown is get the body to start drifting forward right around the time that leg's getting close to the top of its leg lift, and not trying to get the body to start going forward once the leg is almost all the way down to the ground again. So we let this play again for you guys. All right, so let's now watch this one more time, and we'll pause it at that moment that front foot gets into the ground so we can discuss some other things that we have mentioned already from the front view. Okay, so we start up here with our righty, like we saw with the big league videos. We want to take from our shoulder to our shoulder and see that there's a 90-degree angle in the armpit and 90-degree angle in the elbow. But what we can see with you is this elbow is low, so we don't have quite that 90 degrees in that armpit. Right? We go here to here, 90. We go here to here, we got our 90. We got our 90. All right. Aiden, your front shoulder is angling up on you here, which gives the illusion that we are not in 90 degrees in our armpit. This upward angle is going to be tough for you to now get down consistently on time to be able to be in our strike zone. So something to think about is as we are finishing this glove here, we can see how that elbow kind of gets high on you. We kind of have this levelness, and then we kind of get this upwardness. If we want to get this upwardness, that's fine. Let's just make sure that it doesn't start from here, but instead starts more down here. So that way when we get that upwardness, it's taking us to this point in time. Or, like we can see here, we can still have that elbow go up, but let's not have the shoulder go up with it. So that way the shoulders are not tilting up, but they're more level. So that would be one thing that I would pick out for you, Aiden, from our side view here, is that front shoulder is just a little elevated on you. So now as we come through to throw, we got to kind of get out of this angle. Now we get to a level angle, and now we're trying to get to that down angle. And we would be able to get more down with this baseball still in our hand if we didn't have to flip it from being up to level to down. But if it was already level, then it would go down a lot easier. But all in all, what we're seeing from your two perspectives here, bud, are pretty darn good. I'm not seeing anything that's going to be putting your arm into unnecessary stress positions. Everything for the most part is looking relatively good. I would like to see you throw without this big, huge rubber constricting thing on you that's preventing some range of motion, because I'm not going to comment on one or two things because I'm assuming it's because you have this very awkward piece of tight, like, scuba suit on, that it's preventing your arm from getting into a true 90-90. So next time we throw, let's do it without this thing on so we can see if that is actually the case. Let's now come over to our lefty. And like I talked about from this front view, we said we're going to be able to see what I was talking about with your hand being late, easier over here. So as we can see, like we discussed with the big league videos earlier, and like we can see with Garrett Cole here, as that foot gets into the ground, we can see how that arm is loading itself up, right? Both the elbow, like you and Cole are doing here, right? Both the elbow of the throwing arm loading up towards the shoulders, but then most importantly, it's the hand flipping up. And we can see as your hand starts to flip up, it doesn't quite get to where it needs to be in this 90-degree positioning here, right? That 90 degrees, yours is not there because your hand's not up yet enough. As we get out of foot strike here, now we can see as your arm gets up to that 90-90, we can see how much more your body is already going forward, right? We want to be going forward with our body as that arm now lays back. So we'll see with Garrett Cole, as he goes to throw and those chest and chin goes forward, how his arm lays back into external rotation. How it looks like the elbow goes forward, but that ball just stays in place almost. That's the whippiness of the arm. And we can see you don't necessarily have that whippiness of your arm because your body going forward is still pulling the arm up. And now you go to throw, and it's a very quick in and out. It's very quick in and out. And because of that, just a little bit extra stress has to go in to getting that ball out in front consistently. So now what we're going to notice is this is the angle that your body is at release. Let's get Aiden as well to his spot at release, and then we'll get Garrett Cole to his body's position at release, right? And now we'll take those angles and we'll go back to where they were at the moment of foot strike. And I'm trying to draw as straight of lines as I can with a trackpad here. Let's redo Garrett Cole's here. There we go. So we can see all of this is power that the body is using to throw the ball. All of this is power being used to throw the ball. And then look how much power Garrett Cole uses with his body to throw the ball. So we now proceed forward in time. Boom, there's Aiden letting go of the ball. So he went from upright to whatever degree of angle that is to power his throw. And now we'll watch as Aiden continues that throw, how those angles of those shoulders keep going down. Right? So he went all the way here to throw, and then it took him here to slow down. We do something similar with Cole. Right? Cole released the ball. He gets his chest all the way down to here. So he had to go down to here to power that throw, and he had to go down to here to slow that down. We get to yours, and we got a little bit, but we need even more to come down and around. Because we can see your body still has energy in it, and now you just take this angle of your chest and you just keep going forward with it instead of letting it go down, 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 down more, right? We can almost see your head goes up as you're releasing this baseball, right? Your head is almost goes down, and then it's coming back up almost. Back up almost. Let's let it go down for a little bit longer. That way all of our energy comes through with the throw, and we allow our arm lots of time to slow down. We allow our arm more time to slow down. Notice how if you had a jersey number, we would only be able to see the first number. It'd be tough for us to see that other number. As Garrett Cole is throwing, yeah, we see the 5, but then we also see the 4. Right? We can see him rotating it all the way around. So just a little bit more aggressive full finish for you, in addition to getting this arm loaded up a little bit sooner. It gets to where it wants to be. It just needs to be there sooner. Right? So we need to sync, time up this arm's path from the moment it separates in the glove to the time that front foot hits the ground where it needs to be at its 90-90. We're just a little late. We're like 0.2 seconds late in our delivery to get this arm exactly where it needs to be. And where it needs to be is right, bam, here. Right there, and instead it's there. We're just 0.2 seconds late. And then we pop up to our righty, and again, with those low angle arm, we'll notice as we go to throw how this elbow now is going to go up. And then we're going to try to pull this ball down, right? From your elbow to your hand is a like high 3/4 angle, but from your shoulder to your elbow is a low 3/4, right? And that's because the elbow starts so low that it's got to travel up just to get to a 90-degree position in your armpit. And then from there, the arm just kind of flicks itself out in front. It kind of flicks itself out in front. And we do that same thing with you that we were doing with Aiden in our lefty. And we can see as you go to throw, you're going from here to there only. And then when you release the ball, we don't get any additional angle. It's just the same angle. It's just further out in front, right? So it's going to be impossible for you to rotate your shoulders down when you throw if most of your throwing motion of the arm is sideways and almost up. That doesn't make much sense for your body to try to go down if this arm is kind of going sideways and up. That's why your chest, as you throw, stays up. And in fact, it even goes upwards, upwards, upwards. Because a lot of the initial energy of this throw is upwards, when we need it to be eventually going downwards. So these are the main things that I'm seeing in your guys' deliveries from these initial assessment pitches that we got to watch. Aiden, we just got to work on this tempo of getting yourself going faster down the mound with more aggressiveness. Righty, we got to work on getting this front leg rotated forward and getting this arm loaded up higher so that way the elbow is not low. Lefty, we got to work on getting this getting this throwing arm loaded up on time. On time is in reference to when this front foot hits the ground. And then my righty and my lefty can both work on getting the trunk out in front more and ultimately down more as we're throwing the baseball. So that way we throw the baseball with all of this strength of our body and not just this little guy here.